So look, let's sort of really, I guess, dive into why we think planning and budgeting for more of your ag clients isn't just a good idea, but in my opinion, as Aaron touched on, is actually just a really becoming more and more of a non-negotiable. And a lot of that comes down to the, very dynamic and often unpredictable environments that farmers are going to be operating in. There's the obvious, market volatility, changing commodity prices. We know they can swing from extremely good to extremely bad in a matter of about 5 minutes. And that can be influenced with its global events, trade policy, demand shifts. It feels like we're always walking a bit of a tightrope in that aspect. So you add to that changing input costs from fuel and fertilizer as well. There's a lot of change, and it's not always easy to predict. So they're not necessarily minor expenses either. They're going to be core to a farm's, operational outlay, and more often than not will eat directly into potential profits as well, depending on what way they're swinging. So throw in the weather. We can't. That's one thing that is, at the end of the day, that's out of our control. Whether it's a drought, a flood, having a plant late, anything like that as well. Patterns are always tricky to predict. And that's going to have an ultimate impact on whether it's yields and quality as well. So we also know that there's those conversations that we're having with banks as well, and I'm sure plenty of you on this call have had a situation where you've had a client that's in need of a loan, an update on their line of credit, something like that. But then the bank wants saying, we need those really clear, articulated financial projections. Where are they? And more often than not, it ends up with them knocking on your door saying, guys, I need it tomorrow, or I need it yesterday. That's a really common scenario, but we know that lenders more and more are starting to demand those, really robust budgets, cash flow forecasts, updates on your position on where, that particular farming business is standing today. And without that, securing the capital or any of those adjustments is getting harder, and ultimately that impacts a farmer's ability to even operate, let alone grow and adapt to any of those changes that we might have just touched on there. So, budgeting, planning, in my opinion, they aren't just good practices. They're really essential tools for securing, your financial lifelines, and relying on gut instinct alone, it can usually be a pretty good guide on where you're standing. It's becoming not enough. And, experience obviously is invaluable and is key to making the right decisions at the right time. But it needs to be backed up by, those solid numbers and forward-looking plans and forecasts as well.